Welcome to the PrePost Film Review. I'm Matt Stevenson.
And I'm John Asquith. So if you're listening for the first time, or even if you're not and you just want a refresher,
Just like listening to our lovely voices.
good on you if you do. The way the podcast works is that we record our thoughts and impressions on a trailer when that trailer is released. And then once the film is released, we come back to the studio and we talk about the movie itself and compare what we thought the trailer, what we thought it was going to be like, and all that kind of stuff. So today we're going to be talking about the new Wachowski siblings movie, Jupiter Ascending.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we also have a special announcement that will affect the podcast slightly over the next few episodes.
Yep.
And that is that we do record the podcast in a studio, together in the same room in Melbourne. But Matt, you're going to be leaving our shores very soon, right?
I'm off to London to live over there for a little while. Which
just giving up all your responsibilities.
Yeah, living life on the street.
Yeah,
hopefully not. No, but it will mean that we can't record together in the same room.
Yeah.
But we do hope to continue, via a miracle that is Skype.
Yes, we will be. The podcast will continue.
Yes.
We'll be Skyping. We'll be getting good equipment, so hopefully the audio quality won't change.
But if you do notice a difference from this episode onwards, that would be why.
Yeah, and there might be some, there might be some teething problems in that sort of setup, but we'll figure that out as best we can. The podcast will go on over the next... It's sort of a fortnightly that we release this thing. So whether or not that's Skype or we have a guest or something, we'll try to keep that schedule going. Yep. Because you'll be...
Yeah, I'm doing a month of travelling before I land in London.
Yeah. So that's like roughly 2 episodes. Yeah. If we can Skype, we'll do that. But we just wanted to let you guys know that because... Although Matt will still be on the podcast, it's a bit sad that we won't be gathering in this studio anymore.
Last little session in the studio.
Yeah, and what a great film we're going to be talking about to go out on.
Yeah, exactly.
Just thought everyone should know that.
Thanks.
And it's been a pleasure being in the same room, Matt.
Yes, it has been.
But we'll be talking about movies ongoing anyway, so it's not really
it's not a goodbye or anything.
No. That's right. So anyway, let's go on to the trailer for Jupiter Ascending.
Sounds good.
We've been taught that the birthplace of the human race is Earth, but it's not.
Do you know what this will do to people when they find out the truth?
I don't think that most people would want to know the truth.
I do.
Your planet was seeded by brass axe industries roughly 100,000 years ago.
It's one of the most powerful dynasties in the universe. There are 3 primary heirs. The oldest is Belem. He's the one that controls this planet and wants you dead.
I'm telling you, I'm nobody.
You are royalty.
What about the girl?
Still alive.
Bring her to me.
Right, here we are in the studio once again.
Yep.
Once again. It's going to have a little chat. And this time we're going to be chatting about the trailer for Jupiter Ascending.
Yep.
The new Wachowski sibling film. Matt, what are your thoughts on... this is the 3rd trailer, I believe.
It's one of the later ones.
Yeah, one of the later ones that we're going to be talking about.
Yep.
What do you think?
What do I think? I think it looks nuts. Just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's good or bad. In a way, it makes me interested. Like, it could be this enormous train wreck of a film, or it could be something unique and original and amazing, which is kind of exciting. But yeah, from that trailer, I'd probably say it skews towards the bad end of the spectrum for me. I kind of cringed at all the princessy stuff, like Space Princess and there's that shot with all the, was it bees or something, like floating around Mila Kunis when she's revealed to be
some kind of insect thing floating around her.
It's just, it's very odd. I don't, just hitting those really heavy kind of fairy tale notes in a sci-fi movie. I don't know. It feels cheesy to me, but who knows? Maybe they'll pull it off. Channing Tatum looks fucking weird, and kind of not in a good way. Like, he looks a bit silly, I think.
Yeah,
with his hair.
It
and
looks
ears.
like a B sci-fi character.
Yeah,
you know, like, I know what you mean. It looks a bit strange.
Yeah, but I don't know. Having said that, it's like the CGI looks pretty good. There's some epic, impressive shots. Just the fact that it's a unique idea. Like, I mean, it's not a Marvel film or it's not a sequel. It's a new story. Is exciting to me. And I do like the Wachowskis, even though they sort of perhaps have skewed a little into the wacky since their Matrix days. I really liked stuff like Cloud Atlas that some people wrote off for being too weird and bizarre. So I'm kind of hoping this goes in that direction, is just fun weird and not shit weird. What do you think, John, from the trailer?
I think to no surprise, I'm pretty much on the same page as you. I think Cloud Atlas obviously was their it wasn't totally their film, but basically will be a good example to compare this to.
I feel like it will be.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that's more serious and grounded. As grounded as the Wachowskis can be. And dealing more with thematic stuff, whereas this looks like, as you said, a bit cheesy and a bit over the top. It feels really 90s to me, watching
interesting.
The trailer. Like this sort of blockbuster that we don't really get anymore, where it is a bit silly and cheesy and fun, but that's okay. You know what I mean? Movie, even like most blockbusters now, even the Marvel ones that have comedic elements, they're also kind of take themselves a bit seriously.
Yeah, they think they're so fucking important and grand.
They
that's
do.
So true.
They do. Yeah.
When you brought up that point about the 90s, I didn't think of it at the time, but now when I look at it, it reminds me of something like Independence Day or something where it's like, you know, Will Smith punches an alien in the head and says, "Welcome to Earth." Or whatever.
Exactly.
Like, you know.
Yeah, it's got like a couple of silly one-liners and like some grandiose stuff, but it's all through this kind of lens of we're just having a good time at the movies, sort of. So I hope it's like that. I agree that it looks like it could be a big old mess of a movie. It looks like there's so much stuff in there.
Yeah,
chock-a-block full of exposition and effects and stuff, maybe. But I don't know. I'm still excited to see it, and I think it comes back to. It's sort of like a reoccurring thing that we're starting to develop on the podcast of like movies that maybe aren't great, but their heart is in the right place.
Yep, that's
and
true.
The Wachowskis always come from an earnest, honest place.
Yep.
And as you said, an original place most of the time as well. Or even if they're adapting something like Cloud Atlas, it's like super original book
or Speed Racer or whatever.
Or Speed Racer. It's like this left of field choice to adapt something. And I think they've probably had more mediocre films than good ones by this point.
Yeah.
But they're always worth checking out because they're always, they're like Hollywood films that are outside of what Hollywood does now.
Yeah.
Like it's this weird kind of thing of it's full of CG and it's got explosions and all that stuff, but it's not like a Marvel movie or a Transformers movie. It's a very singular sort of thing. It looks like anyway. So I'm optimistic that it will be fun. I don't think it'll be this earth-shattering masterpiece or anything. Yeah. But I'm hoping that it will be I'm hoping that it will be enjoyable. I think the CG looks good, but it looks like there is a lot of it. Like there's like prequel vibes, Star Wars prequel vibes.
To the point of like it looks like the majority of the shots in the trailer are almost entirely CG.
Yeah. And there's an establishing shot of a planet that looks heaps like Naboo. with like waterfalls.
That
and,
just gives you bad vibes.
it's just a bad association. Like I would have stayed away from that if I was them.
Do you think they're going to focus on the romance? Do you think that's going to be the crux of the film?
I actually kind of hope it is. Yeah, I think that'll be okay.
Though, yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I really dislike that line at the end of the trailer where she's like,
I love dogs.
yeah, he's like, I have more genetically in common than a dog.
Yeah.
With a dog than you. And she's like,
Yeah.
I love dogs. And it's like,
Yeah.
what the it's just weird.
Yeah, it is a bit weird. Yeah, but I'd prefer if they tried to center that rather than
Just
this
action.
big expositional action thing.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And I got to say, the villain looks really hammy.
Oh, Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah.
Like, that is so surprising given like the acclaim he's getting for the Stephen Hawking's performance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
he's almost Eddie Redmayne is almost unrecognizable in that part.
Yeah,
and
totally.
it does look way over the top.
Oh, it doesn't look. He's always got like his hand like poised up
Yeah.
in this like posh kind of way, and he's always half whispering his evil dialogue like
Yeah.
this. So I'm a bit. If he's just like that the whole time.
Yeah.
and he just seems pure evil as well. You know?
Yeah, that's true. There doesn't seem to be much dimension to him.
Yeah.
And he has there's that weird alligator man as
Yeah,
well.
that actually worries me too.
Yeah.
That looks like, for some reason, like, I can handle all the spacey stuff, I can handle weird creatures, but that just looks like something from a video. Like, it's one step too far into fantasy or something. I don't know.
You know, it almost feels like they're trying to mesh, like, old fantasy stuff, like Lord of the Ringsy kind of vibe with sci-fi. Like, you got princesses and kings and dragon people and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it might not sit right.
Yeah. Some of the all the villain bad guy stuff in general looks a bit not great.
I think it's a good point that it looks a bit video gamey. That's one of the things I was worried about a little bit. Like he's got his little jetpack shoes, and there's a couple of shots where he's sort of
flying around.
Yeah, and they're having gunfights, and he has sort of that like shield thing that looks like it's pulled right out of like a Halo video game or something.
Yeah. And it's not enough for the shield to just be there. It has to like glow when it gets hit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Some
like this
magical energy shield.
Yeah. It's like this extra layer of I don't know, visual ADD on top of everything, sort of.
Yeah. It's such a weird film for them, I feel like. Well, from the trailer, because it looks so simple and like the princess has to save the world, you know. But if you look at like all the Matrix films and even Cloud Atlas, they're such sort of heady, I don't know, like much deeper sci-fi than this kind of thing. Like this is very cartoony. Yeah,
I think you're right. I think this probably has more in common with Speed Racer than their other movies. This is like their attempt at doing a fun sci-fi, fantasy, space opera sort of thing. Something that's more like, their point behind it is like the ride or the journey, you know, and this like escapism and not necessarily trying to say anything.
Yeah.
That much.
Do you think Sean Bean's going to die?
Probably, yeah. He's got it, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. Do you reckon it will totally wrap up? Do you think they're laying seeds for a franchise or not?
That's a good question. I think it will totally wrap up.
I agree, yeah. Because the Wachowskis are, as we were saying before, they're kind of outside of this trend of bullshit franchise.
But having said that, like the Matrix films are one of the first
to do
bad
that.
examples.
Yeah,
to, like,
that's true.
Spur that on. But I don't know, I feel like this could be like a little bit of a, opening the door to a bit of a franchise within the universe, potentially if it does well. But I don't think they're like overtly setting it up as
I agree,
like a trilogy of films that cover one story.
Yeah.
Which again is kind of like a 90s blockbuster.
Yeah, exactly.
Just make a good fucking film, and if it's good, then make another one.
Exactly, yeah.
A sequel.
Oh,
in the
why
same
don't they
universe.
do that anymore?
I know. Instead, we've got films that are essentially trailers for other films with stingers on the end. They're trailers for more films.
Of that, I hate it. Like, you'll be back here. Here's something, then you're going to come back and watch the fucking next one because we've planned 5 of these things. Just make one.
Oh, I miss those days.
Yeah.
When the exact same genes reappear in the exact same order, it is what you call reincarnation.
Her Majesty's life is going to change if she wants it to.
I'm still the same me.
Right now, Balem owns the title to Earth. Once you claim it, the Earth will belong to you.
I will harvest that planet tomorrow before I let her take it from me.
Okay, we're here in the studio. We've cleared out all the bees that we're buzzing about. It's a reference to the movie. We've seen it. Matt, we've seen Jupiter Ascending.
Yes.
What are your initial general thoughts?
Jesus. I kind of don't know where to start with this film.
Yeah.
I'm kind of lost for words. I really didn't like this film. Not much at all. I don't want to use the word hated, but I really didn't like this film. It just didn't work for me. Which is a kind of a shame because there's parts of it that I kind of wanted to like. I don't, like we said in the trailer review, I don't think it's necessarily a cynical film. It in a way has its heart in the right place, kind of as we suspected it would. But what a piece of shit. It was just, I mean, full disclosure, I went in quite exhausted. So I hadn't had much sleep, which may have added to my frustrations. But I found this almost impossible to follow at times. Just an absolute mess of exposition and stupid characters, and I was just, for the most part, I was just frustrated at it and wanting it to end so I could leave the cinema.
Yeah.
Which sounds harsh, but it just really didn't work for me at all. How did you feel? Did you love it, John?
I thought it was a masterpiece. I don't know what you're talking about. The bees,
I want you to convince me that it was good.
the wings. No, I agree. I wanted to like it.
Yeah, right.
I feel like the Wachowskis, they have their heart in the right place. But they messed this up.
They certainly did.
It's just, I was wanting it to end.
Yeah.
Like, I was bored. I was really bored for most of it.
And just going back to what I said before about being exhausted, I actually did fall asleep at one point, like nod off
like
mildly.
quickly nod off.
Yeah, to have the little head bob and then back up again.
I don't blame you. Yeah, I was so open. Like I never thought it was going to be great, as we talked about in the trailer thing. But I was so open to this.
Same.
I wanted it to be good because it's not based on anything. It's their own idea and blah blah blah. But it just, I don't know. It's like they wrote this huge lore for the universe and all these rules and characters and backstory, and instead of picking a little sliver of it, they tried to pack the whole thing in and get everyone to explain where they came from and what they were doing and the rules and the regulations of this world. And it was just so confusing in a dumb way, not a smart way.
That's exactly right. Not in a fun way where you want to piece it all together.
No, exactly.
And it never gave the sense that there was overarching lore or continuity to the whole universe. It was just let's come up with the weirdest, craziest design shit we can for all the henchmen and weapons and ships, and just ram it all together and then come up with some story about royalty and bloodlines and fuck me, I don't even know what happened in this film.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's so over produced in every way as well. Like everything is over designed. There's always too much shit on the screen. Like there's a couple of action sequences that are okay, but half the time it's like I can't even tell what's going on because there's just crap everywhere. And even things like, I hate in movies when the bad guy's on his little couch thing and it's a hover couch I noticed like it had these little blue ringlet things coming out of the bottom, like, and it was hovering. It's like, why does it need to hover?
Why would there ever be a hover couch?
Yeah,
Like, why would you
he doesn't
spend
even
energy?
move around. It's not like he drives it around to
They
different
couldn't
rooms.
be bothered putting little legs on it.
Yeah.
So they created some amazing technological advancement to make it hover 2 centimeters. off the
Exactly. I hate that kind of stuff because it's like it's just not realistic at all. Like, realistic's the wrong word, but you know what I mean?
floor.
It's not consistent
There's
in
no,
that.
there's no internal logic behind
Exactly,
it. It's just
yeah.
stupid design things to look cool and sci-fi.
Yeah, that's right. And there's so much of that in
It's
this
basically
movie.
the whole film, really.
Yeah, that's the whole film in a nutshell. It's just like, why? That didn't need to be like that. And yeah, I feel
Yeah,
sort
we're
of.
going pretty hard at this film.
Yeah, I feel little bad because the intentions were good.
Yeah, I
but
think
it's
so.
just like, I don't know if it's that there was no one. You know, if it's that old syndrome of there was no one around to say no. You know, there was a bunch of yes men around the Wachowskis. I don't know how they got the money to do this, to be honest, because they haven't had a big hit for a while, and this is like a big, new, expensive movie.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if because I know they put some of their own funding into Cloud Atlas.
Right.
I don't know whether the same thing happened here or
Yeah,
it's
I don't
baffling
know.
to me. Yeah, in general, it's baffling that this movie exists.
No, you're so right. I mean, if I were to stick up for it in any way, I think there's kind of like some potentially interesting ideas. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
It's hidden in there.
Yeah, I agree.
Like the whole thing about like genetics and like genetically seeding planets. I mean, it's not the most original.
Yeah,
Sci-fi
but there's something
concept,
you can
but-
do with that totally.
Yeah, and I mean the whole concept of Earth and humanity just being one tiny little planet.
Yeah.
Though then again, it's apparently worth a whole lot for some reason that's never explained.
Yeah.
That was seeded by human DNA, which was a product of these aliens that came from wherever.
Yeah.
In order to kind of like manufacture or grow enough human
a big
DNA to
free-range
create their
farm.
to create their little white syrup that like that brings them youth or whatever the hell it does.
I mean, it's very Matrixy.
It
really.
is. I mean,
it's
and
like
that's-
humans being used as a
yes,
resource
yeah.
and
Even
then having to
it's a-
fight for that.
Kind of through line because there's similar themes in Cloud Atlas that I perhaps shouldn't let you. It's a bit spoilery, so I won't talk about too much.
Yeah, no,
But
that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it just seems to be a bit of an obsession of theirs
Hmm.
with humans and humanity being used as a product
Yeah.
for something else.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think even like I don't know. There seems to be some sort of weird visual parallels with like biblical stuff as well. Like you have him in the Channing Tatum's Wolf Man with his wings at the end. That's kind of like angelic, and then the Jupiter planet when it's all crumbling and collapsing is this like hellish landscape of fire and like literal like brimstone and just flames everywhere. Like there's little things that could have been interesting if they were expanded upon.
I agree.
But it's like just all fucking vomited onto a screen and just makes no sense at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think that stuff could have been really interesting, and it's the writing, and Mila Kunis isn't great in the movie. I feel like she's probably doing the best she can with the material, but there was just no reaction.
Yeah, see, I think
from her character.
Yeah,
she's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like
do everything.
The aliens come and like abduct her friend or whatever. That's like trying to get ready to go out on a date or whatever the hell's going on.
Yeah,
and her reaction is just to hold up her iPhone and take a photo.
Yeah, and then she can't remember taking the photo and just kind of casually looks at it on her thing. Yeah. Like, oh, my half naked friend with these little creatures around her. I don't remember taking that. Oh. It's like that the whole way through.
Weird. Yeah, no,
like,
I agree.
Imagine meeting our, quote unquote gods who made us, and they're like, you're just a product. Like that could be so powerful. Yeah, and it's played off. It's not even played off anyway. It's just like not even acknowledged.
Yeah, her reactions are always like non-existent to everything.
Yeah,
it's bizarre, which makes me think it must be a like deliberate directorial choice. Like I don't know, like
it's a bad one.
because I think she does bring a lightness to certain scenes, and she's sometimes it feels like she's kind of in on the joke in a way. You know what I mean? Like it's. I do generally like Mila Kunis as an actress. And
Yeah,
I
me
think,
too.
Yeah, I think there's certain
Well, she can do a great job. I just think...
which makes me think, like, why it's such a misfire.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of George Lucas prequel syndrome. Like, this silly script, and, I mean, the Wachowskis have never been great actors, directors, it seems like. I mean, if they get a really, really good actor, they can deliver something. But I always get the feeling... I've always felt like they're more interested in...
Yeah, the action and
the framing and getting that stuff right.
Fair.
And so I think, I don't know. I just feel like her character was really... just didn't work.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And, I felt like none of them worked.
No.
I mean, Eddie Redmayne, Academy Award winning.
He was really bad.
But I think it's the same thing, right? Like, in a way, it was fucking horrible misjudgment of how he played that character. But, like, I can see he's, like, swinging for the fences with that. Someone needs to go, whoa, like, that's just tone it down and be... he's almost in this other campy, hilarious film that
totally
could have worked.
Yeah.
But it's so tonally all over the shop, this movie.
That's why, I just have to assume that they weren't particularly focused on the performances.
They just didn't care. Just do what you want.
They were like, make that a hover chair.
Yeah.
Was that performance good? Yeah, that's fine. But we want you to be on a hover chair, so... I don't know. It's just... that's a great point, that everyone's in a different movie.
Yeah.
You've got Sean Bean, who's this great kind of serious actor, you know, and he's got this gravitas to him.
Yeah.
But he's just saying this ridiculous stuff, like that stuff about the bees was like...
That was moronic.
It felt like a later M. Night Shyamalan film, where they just say stuff that's like, what the hell?
Yeah, like, even on a basic, like, non-scientific, just general knowledge thing, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
Like...
It makes no sense. Like, do they hang around the Queen? Like Queen Elizabeth? Does she always have bees around her?
Exactly.
Like, they weren't even space bees or genetically engineered bees or something. They were just normal bees.
It's funny you should say that, because exactly what I thought is, like, the royal family in London is just constantly covered in bees.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I'm always getting stung. Although they wouldn't sting her, I suppose. But, and he's like a bee man, right? That was his...
Was he?
Yeah, I think he was...
Probably.
Like, you know how Channing Tatum is mixed with a wolf?
Well, he was mixed with a bee.
Yeah. Because he'd have little orange eyes every now and then. And had the honeycomb everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. There was honeycomb. And his little eyes would just, like, flicker orange for no reason, randomly.
That happens to a lot of characters. Yeah. Like, just, like... In case you forgot what they're spliced with, here's like a few frames of their eyes, looking this way or something. Weird. And they both lost their wings. What?
So, it's just so weird. There's so many things, like,
it's too
weirdly
much.
little
It's
specific...
just too much.
Yeah, so much of this film just doesn't make sense. Like, I sat there watching, going, like, why is that happening?
Yeah.
It's like they just didn't care and were just thinking scene by scene, what would be cool here?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, they couldn't see the whole picture at all.
It's such a bizarre film.
Mm.
I mean, it was almost at the point where I was watching it saying, this is going to be a great film to watch in 20 years with a drinking game and just laugh at it the whole way through.
I agree, yeah. I think so.
It's such a mess.
Yeah, and it was quite... I mean, we're going through scenes now, but... when they were, that you have the big kind of, the ships, like the dogfight in the city.
Yes.
And then I guess it's the next day or something, they're driving away from the city. And Mila Kunis is like, oh, won't everyone know? And he's like, look in the rear vision mirror. And then the like, building just stops burning or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, fine.
Yeah. They don't explain that at all. Like... There's no... You just assume, there's some kind of technology that's doing that? But who's doing it? Who's doing that?
I don't know. It's funny you should bring that up, because during that dogfight, I was thinking that. I was like, this is so dumb. Like, as if people wouldn't... They're, like, shooting up half the city. Like,
Yeah.
how do people not know that there's aliens all over the place? And then they kind of just, like, drive away. And I was thinking, like, oh, cool. Maybe this is just, like, this is the first time they've hit Earth. And they're not even going to bother.
Yeah.
Like, they just fuck the place up. Everyone sees them.
Yeah, it's
everyone's
like, you know,
wigging out.
walking into a paddock of cattle and just, like... You don't even think about what the cattle is thinking
Exactly.
of.
They don't give a shit if humans know they're there or not. This film isn't going to bother with their reactions to the aliens. That's not what they care about. We've got this bigger story to deal with. But then they throw in that line about it magically fixing himself and how short-term memory is easy to erase and no one's going to believe the ones that they miss or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, it was so cliched and shoehorned in. I don't know. It was just... dumb.
Yeah.
I was thinking in the cinema where Channing Tatum is going to go rescue Mila Kunis. I can't remember when. From the wedding, maybe.
Yeah. He does it like 5 times during the movie.
And they have all the ships are like the little mini ships are like the Shield, and him and Sean Bean go like, you know, I think he's in the prison or whatever. I can't even fucking remember. And he's like, oh, do you have any debts or whatever? And he goes, I need you to come with me to help me rescue old mate.
Yeah.
They both go out in their little ships. There's all those mini ships. Like, what the fuck are they doing to start with? There's like a billion of them.
Yeah,
like, he would die instantly if they did anything. But he somehow manages to get through. Yeah. But then, like, Sean Bean does nothing for the whole... Like, nothing.
Yeah.
And Channing Tatum just goes through and crash lands. And then next scene, they're back in the fucking ship again. And it's like, why did you just spend, like, 5 minutes setting up that you need Sean Bean to come with you, doing all this stupid dialogue...
Yeah, exactly.
To literally have him do nothing in that scene.
Yep.
Oh,
his whole character is weird because it's like he double crosses them, but then not really or something.
Did he? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
See,
he pretended to double cross them or something.
I have no idea what most of the characters were doing. Like, for a lot of the film, I didn't understand why Channing Tatum wanted to find Mila Kunis.
Yeah.
And then...
Because she's the reincarnation of...
Which is dumb to begin with.
That doesn't make any sense.
Like, the whole thing, the bloodline is that, you know, their mother owned Earth or whatever, and in her will, she gave it to her kids.
Yeah.
But now this other chick was born with the same DNA, so she's their mother?
Yeah.
Like, why does she get anything?
Yeah. It's not actually her.
No.
It's not actually your mum.
So weird.
It's really weird. And the prologue little thing is really weird too.
Oh, I can't even remember.
With her dad in the telescope, and
he gets shot.
He gets in this bizarre. What is going on there? Who are they? Are they robbers? This like SWAT team of robbers that come in and like really want that telescope.
It's so unnecessary.
It's really weird.
So I knew I was going to dislike this film from that scene when they started speaking English instead of Russian.
Yeah.
Because I have a pet peeve about that. Like, if they're like Russian...
a token 1 or 2 lines in Russian.
And then they just speak English.
Yeah.
It's like, there was no reason for them to be Russian in the first place. But if you're going to make them Russian, make them Russian. Put, subtitle it, have them speak Russian.
Yeah.
Don't have them, say 2 lines and then suddenly speak in English with a British accent or whatever he had.
Yeah. I think he was British. His character was British.
Oh, he was a British astronomer who was in Russia.
And then she gives birth to her over the Atlantic Ocean or whatever.
Yeah, shipping container.
Yeah.
But even just that, like, the fact that out of, like, pure coincidence, her dad happened to be an astronomer and liked, like, looking at Jupiter.
Yeah.
Or she wasn't born then, but Jupiter was in the sky or something.
Yeah.
So he named her Jupiter.
Yeah.
And then it just so happens that Jupiter is actually this planet that has this refinery in the core of it that is like, what the
Yeah, I thought it was going to loop around to her dad. There'd be some connection to that opening scene.
She got a telescope at the end, John.
Yeah. Well, that's the only thing. Like it didn't tie up thematically or anything. Like it is literally she's the reincarnation of their mum, and so that entitles her to own the earth or something. Like it just doesn't make any sense. How did they know she existed? Like, how did they know there's someone on Earth that's the reincarnation of our mother?
Wasn't it to do with when she was going to donate her ovaries or whatever? or when she went to like he was like.
Yeah. By the way, that storyline is just fucking bizarre.
And it's got the Aussie actor guy.
Yeah.
That just has a terrible US accent.
Yeah.
And it was cringeworthy.
Yeah.
Just in general, the humor in this film just fucking lands like a ton of bricks.
And that's something we talked about with the trailer. Like, it looks like it might be fun, quite, those little quips every now and then, and that will work. But yeah, like we were wrong. Oh, I was wrong about thinking that it would be this fun thing, because the humor only pops up every now and then, I think. And it's woefully kind of at the wrong time and
just
like
not
bad
funny.
delivery. Yeah, not funny. Like the pad, the maxi pad thing. It's just weird. It's not...
Yeah, and then like that's not even that funny. Like that's actually quite a good Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Like, and then there's that weird moment where like Sean Bean is trying to heal Channing Tatum with his magical spray, and he kind of takes his shirt off and just looks at Mila Kunis, and she just gives him this like shrug, like it's like okay,
and he just holds it up like a bloody pad. It's kind of weird.
It's so weird. And how many times did like Mila Kunis spent like 80% of this film falling and getting caught by Channing Tatum?
Totally, yeah.
So many times. It just happens over and over and over and over.
No sense of danger or anything. Repetitive.
It's also, like you said before, it's like they've created this grand world. They have all this lore and mythology that they've come up with, and they've tried to cram it all down into this film. But it's like they did that, and then the film was like 4 hours long, so they've just like randomly pulled scenes out, because there's like moments where stuff just happens. Or
I totally agree. It's such a rush as well. There's this moment where Channing Tatum gets pushed out into space.
That's exactly
and firstly, the most cliche thing ever, they give him a monologue. The bad guy gives him a monologue, kicks him out, and then doesn't wait and watch for him to die. Just goes off in his ship.
Yeah.
Somehow doesn't notice that he also ejected all these like space helmet things.
Yeah, like safety vest things. Like 20 of them out the door with him.
And so he uses that, and then just in the nick of time, this other ship turns up to save him. And then the next scene, he's on like the hospital bed and just kind of gets up and he's fine, and then like the plot moves on straight away.
Yeah.
There's no recovery. There's no, you got here just in time or anything. It's like he might as well have not been down to the last minute.
That's so true, because there was, I feel like that he was out there, he put his little magic suit on and it said like 30 minutes, please find an airlock or whatever. Then I feel like it cut away to something.
Yeah, it did.
And then it cuts back to him.
And he's like 0 minutes.
And he's got 0 minutes and he's kind of just floating there.
Yeah.
And the camera does this weird sort of slow pan around him as the ship just appears.
Yeah.
But there's just like zero suspense.
Yeah.
Like it felt like that was meant to be this moment where he was on the brink of death, like he'd been out in space for ages, all hope was lost.
Yeah, that's right.
He was a dead man, and then suddenly there's like this sort of angelic glow behind him as this ship appears to rescue him.
Exactly.
And you're meant to have this like sigh of relief that he's going to be okay, but it's so fucking rushed, like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
That comes out of nowhere, and you're like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a ship. He's back. He's on the hospital.
Might as well
he's
have
fine.
just cut that out.
Yeah, it did nothing.
And I think, this is something that we do sometimes, Matt and John rewrite the movie. But it would have been so much more interesting if you were with Mila Kunis the whole first half of the movie and you were discovering things as she did, which you weren't in this, because within the first 10 minutes, you cross-cut to some other planet where they're talking about harvesting and, like, who owns the earth and all this kind of stuff. And, like, that's just such a big mistake in fantasy and sci-fi. Like, you need someone that you're going with.
Yeah, it needs to be grounded.
Yeah, it needs to be grounded. And, they think they're doing that with Mila Kunis, but they weren't, because they're cutting all over the place all the time. And you're seeing this politics of this system that you have, nothing about. And, I don't know, it really frustrates me because, as you said earlier, like, there are seeds of good ideas and a good movie here, and they've just, I don't know, they've tried to cram. It's like they loved all their ideas too much. They couldn't sacrifice any of their ideas.
No, I totally agree, because I was thinking the same thing. Like, you have that entry point there with Mila Kunis. Like, maybe it's a bit cliche and she's like a cleaner or whatever, like Cinderella almost.
Yeah,
you know,
why not try and do something like that?
But that's kind of all you need, right?
Yeah.
I can deal with it being cliched, but that's where we as an audience need
it's
to
like what they did with
from.
Neo in The Matrix.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly right. So you spend the first half or your first act of the film with almost no weird shit, like the hints of it coming in.
Little strange things every now and then.
She gets freaked the fuck out because of all this weird stuff. Like, if I was her, I'd be shitting my pants
Exactly.
that whole film.
Yeah.
Like, just my mind would
Absolutely.
break.
Yeah.
But she's just...
Everywhere she goes, they should be like, what is that smell? And she's like, sorry, I shit myself.
Oh, yeah, it was such a missed opportunity because the character's there for them to do it, but you're right. They're just too in love with the politics and the law to let it naturally develop from her perspective.
Exactly.
They have to, like, cram as much in as they can, as soon as they can.
That's right. Yeah, it's like cutting to Morpheus and all those guys in their ship before Neo finds out what's going on.
Yeah.
It'd just be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And not in a good way. Yeah, it's like, you know, they introduce these, I guess, bounty hunters. This girl on the speeder bike and her mate.
See, but then who are they working for?
No idea. And they disappear halfway through the movie. At one point, they capture Channing Tatum or Mila Kunis. Can't remember. They capture someone and deliver them to one of the bad guys.
Oh my God.
And then they're just not in it anymore. Why set them up as much as they did? I thought they were going to be the main antagonist, and it would be this like cat and mouse kind of thing throughout the movie.
Yeah, it's so weird. I'd totally forgotten about them.
Yeah. Having a needless action scene where they follow Channing Tatum while he's going to check out that paperwork at the fertility thing or whatever. And then he comes out the door and they all shoot each other and he gets away. No need for that. Like, it's just a pointless action scene that doesn't add anything at all. It's just... it's really frustrating. This movie is incredibly frustrating.
And speaking of the action scenes too, I disliked their use of slow motion in this film. Like, The Matrix did it really cool. I don't know that's cliched now, but they had like a sense of when a cool moment to do like a bit of slow mo was, and they almost like created this new way to shoot action films with that film.
Yeah, totally.
But this, it's like they're just randomly like make moments slow motion that aren't even impressive.
Yeah.
Or like I won't even know what happened. Like
Channing
Tatum does some weird thing with his magical surf sky gravity boots or whatever off a wall or something, and it, for some reason a second of that was in slow motion, and I was just added to the confusion a lot of the time.
Yeah. It's a real shame because you'd think, you know, they're obviously action directors mainly, and the action itself wasn't that great. I was waiting for some redemption of her family and for her family to maybe start treating her better, and that never happens. There's
Except randomly at the end. Like, then they're just
they buy the telescope.
Everyone's like, you're the best. Like, she wakes up early and makes some breakfast and a coffee, then they're like, we all pulled out $0 and spent like $8,000 or whatever on a golden telescope for you.
It makes no sense because as far as they're concerned, nothing has changed.
Yeah. And they're
nothing's different. That the night before, that guy was calling her a piece of shit and saying that she wastes money.
Yeah, they're obviously like financially in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Like, why would they spend thousands of dollars on a telescope for her for no reason?
Yeah. The whole family thing was weird. Like, I was waiting for that to click and it never did. Same with the mother. Like, the mother, after the husband died, she decided not to believe in love and all this kind of shit. And she you know, Mila Kunis has this line like, my mother says love isn't real, it's just confused, whatever the fuck she says. And I thought that might come around. Like, I mean, Mila Kunis does fall in love, so there's that, I guess. But the mother, mother just has a shit life, I suppose. She's just negative Nancy now forever. Like, there's no connection there with the mother character, which they seem to be setting up at the other. Like, why have that prologue sort of thing at the start?
The exposition in this film was particularly bad, I thought. Like, there was... When, after Channing Tatum rescues Mila Kunis from I think it was from the hospital, And they wake up and she wakes up and she's in like the building site.
Oh yeah.
And he's left a gun in front of her. And
So
he's
weird.
like, I thought that'd make you feel better. It works better if you turn the safety off. So she turns the safety off. Then he shits himself and goes like, it starts putting his hands up like she could actually kill him. It's like, what was your plan there, man?
Exactly.
Like, you just
What if
gave
she
her the weapon
did?
and told her how to use it.
It's so stupid.
And then-
like, why not just let her have it and think that she can fire
exactly.
it?
And then later on,
And then she does go to fire it, and he's like, and then he says like,
takes it off her.
yeah,
and
takes it off her.
says
You
it
think
was-
I'd actually let you?
Yeah.
You know, then it's like, oh, he's a smart,
Yeah.
bounty hunter,
Oh.
lone wolf guy. But
It was
instead, he
just so
actually gives her a
dumb,
fucking gun. And then he's like, oh, don't shoot
Yeah,
me.
he gets freaked out.
Jesus.
And then he sits down and he's like, we were trained in how to handle these situations in our... Like, literally just explains to her that he knows what he has to do and then
It's so
explains
weird that he
more shit.
says that.
It's
Yeah, I
like-
was trained to deal with this. Is this a dream? I was trained that you'd probably say that. Oh, what?
Yeah, it's like...
And then there's this joke about that he fucking stripped her naked and put clothes on her.
Yeah, which it recurs later on where
Yeah.
she says something... I can't... It's another example of it not
The
being
humour
funny.
not working at all. Yeah, she's like, I want to get changed by myself or
Yeah.
something. And then he does a dumb shrug or... That's all the jokes are in this movie is one character says something, the other
Someone
one
shrugging.
does a stupid shrug. Yeah, this movie made me appreciate Avatar and Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah.
way more.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
I
true.
like both those movies, but they just show you how new worlds that we're not used to with these crazy rules and aliens and things can work if
Yeah.
you get the characters and the story down pat.
Yeah.
And the lore is in the background. The rules of the universe are in the background, but it's consistent. You know, it's just complete opposite to this movie.
I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a particularly good example, and as much as we hate on Marvel films a lot, like that was a good film.
Yeah,
and
that
we
was
both
a solid
enjoyed that.
movie.
Even
Yeah.
if we did, I think I remember from our review that there was a little bit of confusion with the plot and the villain, and it was a little bit hard to follow.
Compared to this.
But yeah, exactly right. It's like chalk and cheese. So that makes that seem like crystal clear
Yeah, it
compared to
does.
how muddled this is.
Yeah.
And you're right, it just goes to show having a grounded, relatable main character that hooks you and just carries you through the story changes everything. Like they can do the most crazy, wacky, talking fucking trees and raccoons and never explain why there's worlds with like green dudes, blue dudes with mohawks and
exactly.
zombie ships. Like you just don't care, and it doesn't matter because it's about the characters and the journey that they're going on, and that's what's important.
Yeah, that's right.
Whereas this does like the exact opposite. There's no characters to latch onto, and it's obsessed with all this boring lore, and you just do not care. I'll be in a weird way. I'm kind of more curious to see what they do next. See if it's another
that's a
train
good
wreck,
point.
or
That's a
if
good
it's
point.
going to be
have they
a return
learned?
to form.
Yeah.
But I guess the excitement has gone now that the Wachowskis are making a new film that could be amazing. Like my expectations will be much lower for whatever they do next.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so overall,
Worst film of the year?
loved it. Yeah, I guess it's a bit early to say that, but it is. Yeah. It's one of the worst we've talked about on the podcast.
I
too.
can't think of another film that'll be as bad as this.
Mm.
And I mean, I'm sure there are, but in terms of big AAA, hundreds of millions of
things
dollars.
that have potential.
Yeah.
And there's, Godzilla is better than this movie.
Yeah. It was
and
way
we
better.
were not fans of that movie.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, I would say we'll be hard pressed to find something that beats this to worst film title of 2015.
Sorry, Wachowskis. Thanks for listening to the PrePost Film Review. We'd love to hear what you guys thought about Jupiter Ascending.
Tell us how great the film was.
Yeah.
How wrong we were. I'd love to hear a positive reaction to
Yeah,
this
me
film.
too. I really would. It'd be fascinating.
Yeah.
You can email us at prepostfilm prepostfilmreview@gmail.com, and we'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great. We're also on Facebook, so you can like us there and see when we post new episodes, and that helps us kind of reach new listeners and spread the word about the podcast. That'd be great. We're also on Twitter. We are under @PrePostFR, so you can follow us on Twitter, and that's kind of the same deal. We notify you when new episodes are up and occasionally post a little news article or anything interesting we come across. The most important thing, though, is iTunes. As always, if you haven't, can you please subscribe to us on iTunes? That makes a huge difference. Leave us a review if you like the show. Don't leave us a review if you hate the show. If you don't use iTunes, same deal with Stitcher. So leave us a review on there, and you can subscribe to us on that service or any other podcasting app or site that you use. We're everywhere.
That's right. And if you just can't get enough of us, we're also on the film site letterboxd.com, which you'll find links to in the show notes. Letterboxd is a great little film community that lets you rate and review movies, and also keep a diary of when you've seen them. So it's a good way to keep in touch with what we've been seeing, but also for yourself. It's such a great way of tracking at the end of the year what movies you've seen throughout the year. I think that's like the best feature.
Yeah, I love that about it.
So you can follow us on there. You guys can join us or some version of the podcast. Next episode, we'll be talking about the new Neil Blomkamp film, Chappie. You know, when she went to get her eggs taken out,
yeah,
and they like turned her over in the air.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to anal probe her.
So did I thought the exact same thing.
I was like, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised. You know, they got to explain everything.
Yeah, I know. I thought
That's
the
most
exact
efficient way
same
to
thing.
find out DNA is through the asshole.
I felt really uncomfortable at that moment too. Like there was just something about the way that was shot. And that it seemed to just suggest maybe it was meant to be a gag that you were meant to think that they were going to anal probe her.
Yeah, maybe.
And then they did the neck thing instead.
It's
but
it's
made me
just a
uncomfortable.
confronting, vulnerable position for a woman, right?
Yeah.
To be in that chair.
And presumably like nothing but a like hospital gown on.
Yeah.
Which is like
getting ready to spread her legs on these stirrup things.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
which is like confronting enough as it is, like just that
exactly.
situation, and then to have it like turned into perhaps a gag. I don't know whether it was meant to be or not.
So weird.
Yeah.